We'll stay in the region where Lesotho Parliament today discussed the motion on the reclamation of some parts of South Africa. An opposition member of Parliament wants legislators to declare the whole of the Free State parts of the Northern Cape, parts of the Eastern Cape, parts of Mpumalanga, and parts of KwaZulu-Natal as a part of Lesotho's territory. This is according to Parliament's order paper. Historically, Lesotho people were found in South Africa's Orange Free State, Eastern Cape, Northern Cape, and in Mpumalanga, as well as parts of KwaZulu-Natal. But they were forced to move to present-day Lesotho because of forced migration during wars. Let's have a conversation on the back of this. Justice Majara is Deputy Prime Minister and leader of National Assembly, and is joining us via Zoom for a quick conversation on the back of this. Thank you so much, Justice, for your time here.
Thank you for having me, ma'am.
Indeed. So now Lesotho's Parliament has debated a motion on the reclamation of some parts of South Africa. Now, you tell us more about the premise for this resolution.
Okay, the resolution was actually tabled, or the motion, because we didn't take a resolution on it yet. The motion was adjourned today for purposes of it being amended, because we didn't agree on the form it was in today. But what the opposition MP was tabling was that we, as the Parliament of Lesotho, should declare that those territories that you have mentioned form part of Lesotho. And we, as on the side of the government, were of the opinion that maybe that would be putting the cart before the horses. It is a highly sensitive matter concerning two countries, one which is totally landlocked within a bigger economy. While we do admit that those territories were not taken legally, were not taken away legally from us, we still believe that the fact that so many years, decades have passed without the land being reclaimed, it is not a matter that is that simple. It requires a lot of diplomacy. In fact, we are part of the SADC and the African Union bodies. And there are protocols that are usually followed when sensitive matters like this are being discussed. We know many Basotho feel very strongly about this, but it is actually the approach that we as the government have a problem with, not the issue itself.
I see. I hope that along the line you can tell us what the problem with the approach is. But before then, I just want to find out, why has it taken Lesotho this long to lay claim to these parts that you believe belong to, the country?
The matter has come up more than once in the past. I think the last time when it was raised was in the upper house, being the Senate, which is made up mostly of the principal chiefs or the traditional leaders of this country. But it was tabled in a different form, even though at that time I was not very familiar with parliamentary issues and parliamentary processes. But from what I read, the person or the senator who tabled the motion adopted the approach which we as the government believe should be the one of negotiations between the two countries. The issue also came up sometime in 1994 when former president, or the late President Nelson Mandela, came to visit Lesotho. He did make reference to the issue that maybe it is time that South Africa actually allowed Lesotho, because we are totally landlocked inside the country, which means we can't even do international trade outside the borders of Lesotho. So he did mention that maybe it is time that at least negotiations around us being given access to the sea, because we know that international trade is the driver of economies. So the issue has been tabled before at different forums, but we believe that the way it was couched in the motion today is actually premature, us making a declarative, because when you declare something that you can't enforce, then what is the point? Instead of going about it the diplomatic way, engage with the other government, and we sit down on the table and see how best the matter can be approached and resolved.
I see. How would you say engagement with the South African government has gone in the past and perhaps even now, if any at all, has been going?
Unfortunately, I am not in a position to say. Probably the Minister for Foreign Affairs and International Relations would be the best person to talk to in that, because he has all the records, the conversations that have taken place around this issue. So unfortunately, I cannot really answer you on that one. But we did debate the motion. Well, the mood was good. But in fact, that is why in the end, we all agree that maybe we should go back, adjourn the House and go and amend the motion so that it is couched in a much more acceptable way than in the present form it was today when it was tabled.
Well, I'm afraid we'll have to leave our conversation here. I hope that we can pick it up again some other time. Thank you so much, Justice Majara.
My pleasure, ma'am. Thank you for having me.